Live from the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina, this is Under the Twin Suns.
Welcome back to Under the Twin Suns, live from the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina. I'm joined by Ruben, Jonathan, and Steve. Chris is out this week, but Jonathan is back. Welcome back, buddy.
Woo! I'm here.
Hey, welcome back.
And I think Ruben wanted to start with talking about the Twin Suns FFG live stream, right? The deck building tips.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Twin Suns is very near and dear to our hearts, and the fact that when those guys at FFG get together and start playing Twin Suns, there's just a lot of laughter, and that's just kind of what we're all about, right? We have a good time, we have fun, we try different card combinations, and throughout the podcast or throughout the stream, they were talking about the different ideas that they have when they're building their decks. They kind of build around themes, but they also talk about some key parts. And one of the main things they did talk about too was the fact of Sentinel, on how important it is, and you know, building your deck and having Sentinel in play is a huge deal. And that's kind of one of the things that I enjoy doing is I literally build my decks with Sentinel first, because different card aspects will help you get X or Y Sentinel unit in there. And they were just kind of talking about looking for a couple of combos that can come into play. And they also talk about too, which I thought was kind of crazy, because it depends on the pods you guys play in for Twin Suns, is being able to play those higher cost units. And they're like, oh yeah, we could sometimes we get to 8 resources, we play, and they're like, what? Because it depends on how aggressive your pod is. Like, I know us, we tend to not get that high in resources, but every once in a while we get lucky on that. But I just kind of like their talk about the different ideas of how they build their cards and helping people out, helping each other, helping your opponents out, because it kind of deflects from you for a little bit, even if it's just a turn. So I really did enjoy them kind of just discussing it and having fun with it. So those are a couple tips. Just Sentinel, of course, restore is really good. Try not to be a target. uh, if if you can heal someone, do it. If you can defeat something that will help your opponent out, because you're trying to keep the game going. If you know that your base has less hit points, and this person could win, if you help your opponent out, they're your friend this turn. They may be your enemy next turn, but you're trying to keep that game going as long as possible. And that's kind of one thing that I've realized when I'm playing is it's not just about swinging out the base. It's also about, can I get to those resources late in game to play those bigger cards that I want to play out? Could I slow the game down just a little bit? So that's just a couple of things they talked about, and I quite enjoyed it. So, and they also posted their deck lists on there as well to kind of show everybody what they were building. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So they mentioned their opinion on if you're running green, you should resource.
Resource, like, you
Yeah,
mean
I know
like
that's like oddly specific, but like I don't know about you guys, but if I ever play green, like I do resupply, or I'll throw like an Architens Assault Cruise or something in there, just like
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
It's
No,
one of
no,
those things,
no,
like
yeah.
green definitely has the help, right? It definitely
Or
has the
even if you're running
resupply.
red with Chomps and Duela, that's always fun.
Yeah, and that's a good combo, and that's kind of one of those cards that when we play, you see that and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, and that's why the memes are so funny, because we kind of come up with things like, oh yeah, that's kind of neat, because it wouldn't happen typically in a premier game. So yeah, that's a good call out, because having that ramp stuff also does kind of make you a target too, so you got to kind of
Yeah.
be careful with it.
I would argue that I mean, because the games are so short, that getting one turn ahead of all of your opponents, I mean, that's pretty powerful. If the game's going to end at 6, but I got to 7,
Yeah.
Right.
that could be pretty
With
huge.
that Palpatine.
Yep.
That's right. Get to 8, bring out Chewie.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve, I believe you have a meme for us. Play the intro.
I do. So my meme I'm bringing today is called "I'll Try Spinning." That's a cool trick.
I've heard that's a really good trick.
I have as well. So the first thing you're gonna play is the new it's the Royal Security Fighter. It's the Naboo fighter from the new set. You'll play that. You're going to pilot it with the R2 pilot. Then you're going to pilot it with baby Anakin. Then you're going to play barrel roll. And he'll get to do he'll spin. He'll get to roll. I'm still working on it, but I want to try and, in Book of Boba Fett where that guy just like randomly spins for no reason.
Mhm.
I really wanted to make that work. Like if we could get modded cohort, and then I wanted to like try and like get him to untap and then just tap him for no reason. I'm still working on it. It's coming though. There's gonna be a game where I get it, where I pull it off.
Are you talking about that spin move where the guy's in the street? He does this like really crazy
Yeah,
maneuver
it, like,
just for no reason, and you're like, "What is
yeah.
this guy doing?"
I love
Oh yeah.
the TikTok that came out of that where he's like they have him spinning and he's like sniping Boba Fett and like he's like he does it again and he's sniping like a world leader or something like they just like keep cropping in
I gotta watch that.
with
That's funny.
crazy stuff.
Well, that's a fun meme, though. Thank you for sharing, Steve. And I think the developers knew what they were doing with having those cards in that order. They had to. And if they didn't, well, Steve knew.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
All right, so let's go on to our main topic, the real stuff. So, Steve, can you? I'm gonna throw it up on screen, but I've been talking to some people this week. Can you explain where this leaked list came from?
So I don't know exactly what genius did this, but someone got the idea from, I guess, searching up Maul and Qui-Gon, probably trying to get a good picture of them so they could remember what they did. And they realized that the picture would not show up, but beside leaders, the number 1 showed up, indicating that there is a
Okay.
leader, but they just don't have a picture uploaded. So they got the bright idea, well, what if we just type in something crazy like, I don't know, Mother Talzin? They got no picture, but they got 1 next to leader.
Ooh.
So they were able to just go in just guessing. And quite a few really catchy names came back as having a leader associated with them.
Yeah, there's one
Things
that I'm
like
pretty excited
Snoke.
for.
Oh yeah, there's one that I know you're excited about because I'm excited about it. Revan
Oh,
got a hit.
that name just euphoria, ecstasy, even flowing through my veins.
Cal Kestis got one, which is pretty cool. When we kind of already knew he was coming, the ship was spoiled already. So I mean, him coming isn't really like surprising.
Those games were okay.
Kanan's gonna have a leader.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and of course it's a Force set, so Anakin's gonna have a leader. Kylo, Rey. I mean, I don't think anybody's really wildly surprised by that.
Snoke
But
surprised
yeah,
me.
there's a. You said Snoke was a surprise?
Yeah, to me at least.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I always no. I'm not hating on like the card. I'm just looking at this like from objectively just from canon and from my nerding. He was a failed clone at the end of the day. So like, was he a legend or was he a mistake? I'm just saying.
Could be a legend in his own mind.
That's fair. You got me there. If he was Mace Windu, I would be shutting up right now because that would have been the coolest reveal of all time. But no, we didn't do that. No, instead it's just a weird clone. Sorry, I interrupted.
We're going
Steve.
deep with this one. No, you're good. I just wanted to put this out there. I don't know if I'll get any hate for it, but like Legends right now is considered stuff that's cool but not canon. And I like that Snoke and Rey and Kylo are in the set called Legends because maybe in the future it'll be, it'll be canon.
Dude, whenever whoever currently owns Bluey right now, when they become the next biggest media empire in the world and crush Disney, and they buy Star Wars, they can Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, that'll be a mess. We're getting 2 new Inquisitor leaders,
which is
which
dope.
is interesting. Yeah, Obi-Wan's getting a new leader. Ahsoka also getting a new leader. Kit Fisto has a question mark next to it. I don't know what that means, but possibly Kit Fisto.
Maybe it means he could be a unit.
So,
They're not sure if he's a leader. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe.
Maybe they did that. They did. There's a list of stuff that they know are cards. They know are not leaders, but cards. Funny enough, Yaddle is one of them.
I
I don't
knew
know
it.
why they decided to do that one.
Because it's a female Yoda, bro.
Uh,
I guess that's kind of a legend.
yeah, it's kind of dope. We're getting a Vader base, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
I have a theory on that. I'm glad you brought that up. My guess to that, if I may, it's going to be
Oh, yeah.
a base for Vader's castle on Mustafar, and that will be one of the rare bases. I do not know what it will do, but my theory is that it will boost dark side users somehow. Like maybe
Ooh.
if you're running that with a Dark Lord, or it's going to have some force ability like those bases we've seen. But I think it will be a rare base. That is just my opinion. Because when I saw that, I also thought that. I thought it would be Vader's castle on Mustafar, rare base.
That's gonna be so cool. I mean, this set is, is this next block won't have all our set one leaders, so we wouldn't have um, a Vader, we wouldn't have a Maul, we wouldn't have an Obi-Wan. So I guess this will be our for the next block.
But
You know what I mean?
but
Like that.
but how am I gonna play Han Solo and Boba Fett?
That's the fun part. You won't.
Well, that's what you think. That's what you. They're actually gonna come out as the spotlight decks. They fooled us with the Qui-Gon Maul.
Yeah. What about that 15 new sabers?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great time to have.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I'm curious to see, and I want to hear y'all's take on this. What I use lightsabers in some of my decks. I have had such a hard time getting my lightsabers to stay on my people since JTL came out because there's so much upgrade removal. That while I'm extremely excited for that, I'm also cautiously optimistic because I feel like it's too easy to get rid of lightsabers.
Yeah.
But I did see that.
Mara is on here.
Yeah, that's
So
very
maybe we're
interesting
getting
because
Mara Jade card.
she's still Legends, right? Or is she canon?
Oh yeah, she's
by
super
something?
not canon.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because Luke has to go live on an island by himself and die, or something.
Eh.
Doesn't get
remembers.
to get the girl and all that.
Look. He did suck on some titties though. They made some blue milk.
He
and they were
did.
but he got some.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, those movies were weird. That actually brings us into a perfect spoiler discussion. Because is it this card? Yeah, for the Luthen Rael, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an item upgrade, reveal it, and draw it. We haven't seen a lot of cards like that, so that's interesting. Like items specifically. So I guess that kind of makes sense that you should have your Jedi and Sith with lightsabers.
Yeah, and it's a 4 cost, and it's got a 4/5 body with it. It's pretty good, and it's on attack, so
Yeah.
you could definitely get some. I mean, that's a pretty good stat line for 4. The on attack is pretty sweet too. So yeah, you swing in for 4, and then get a item, which is a lightsaber, and you can possibly put it on another, or just a saber in general. Put it on a unit to swing with too. It's like, dude, that's just.
And blasters also count as items, like hot shot.
Yeah, any items. Yeah, right. Exactly. So.
And it's got a rebel tag,
got a-
which is not a shabby
I was
package.
gonna say.
Yep.
So what I'm hearing is
never go red and blue. Ooh.
Yeah, I just love red and green too much, man. Like I understand that blue is objectively better. I'm never going to deny it, but red and green just makes me feel like some type of way like a Christmas tree.
Well, yeah, blue is slower though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're building up, you know. Red and green is like, let's go.
Yeah, 1000%.
Yellow's like, all right, I'm gonna fix this up, but blue's like, I'll take my time.
Yellow's like, I'm gonna break your game.
Exactly.
Yellow's like, you haven't even seen a ban before I come out yet.
Yeah, it's like all yellow cards banned.
So because the other spoiler that I know you guys are excited for is that Watto spoiler. I'll let Ruben take that one over because that's his thing.
Yeah, see, nothing I love more than having opportunities to have your opponents make decisions.
Yep.
So Watto is a 3 cost vigilance ground unit, 1 power, 6 HP. On attack, an opponent chooses one of these. You give an experience token to a friendly unit or you draw a card. An opponent chooses one. So think of it like this: it's one of those things where you make your opponents decide on things, but for 3 costs, it could probably take 1, 2 swings max before it gets taken out. But
Mhm.
it's also a good card that you can use to hey, where do you? Oh, we need to work together. I need to get this. Put a token, an experience token on my guy, so I can take out this guy, or something along that line. You can kind of use that. Politics of the game itself, because I think that's going to see more play than you drawing a card. Because
Yeah.
again,
Nobody likes
who
to do
wants
that.
to? No one wants anyone else to draw more cards than anybody else. But you never know. It depends on situations. Or you decide, hey, I'm gonna take this card. Someone traitorous's and takes it and says, okay, now I can do this. And it's just there's so many different crazy things you could do with this, especially when your opponent has to make a decision, which I think always changes the game up when your opponent has to make a decision, like indirect damage. Your opponent decides.
Yeah.
So that's why I like this card so much.
Well, and this one too in Twin
Oh.
Suns, it doesn't have to be the opponent you attack. It can be
Correct.
your frenemy on the side.
Exactly. Because it's an opponent chooses one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like
Dude,
it
imagine if it
says,
said
give
every
the
opponent.
experience
That'd be
token.
wild.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
so cool. I just enjoy the mechanics of when it's more than just one person who make a decision, or an opponent, or every player, every base. That's what I really like about the Twin Suns, is because it impacts the whole board state.
What token do you guys take the most? For me, it's definitely Blast token, just because that's the one I always want to go for, because I'm playing aggro decks. But if I'm playing a slower deck, I always want to have the plan token, because I always want to see what I can get on my next hand. What about you guys?
I prefer to take the initiative token, but
Mm.
if nobody's paying attention, then I'll take the bland token. If I feel like I can get away with drawing 7 or 8 cards.
I mean, you used to until
You really did, and then you...
I think it was like episode 16. You got hold of it. You're like, oh yeah, now I get it. Oh man, it's still a joke. Like even locally, you're like, hey, when someone's learning how to play Twin Suns, oh yeah, just ask Steve how you do the planning counter. He'll tell you all about it. No, but
You see,
overall,
you just
it's
plan to
just
cheat.
You
yeah,
planned it. Well, I'm here to
right.
win.
So for me, I would say in this order, I would say blast first, initiative second, planning third.
Mm.
Because I think blasting is a good way to take that 1 damage off of you, but put it on everyone else. But again, it also depends on what deck you're playing too. Like, do I really worry about that extra 1 damage? No, because I can heal it, or I can get restore really helps. But initiative is pretty huge when you're trying to you know put some sentinel units out there. Like, I don't want to get hit. Let me put this guy out first, so because I see that Cole has a massive army, or Jonathan has
checks
all
out.
those guys that have all those 1/1 what was it, the battle droids. Oh my gosh. So you put a sentinel unit out turn 1, you're like, okay, good, I got the initiative. At least I can breathe at least for 1 turn, so that would be my order.
Makes
Yeah, I gotta split the room. I'm with Steve, and I tend to go for initiative first, just because I like also choosing where to attack first.
Mhm.
Like you said, Ruben, if there's a sentinel in the way, or you can beat out a sentinel to get a value trade, it's awesome. But if the person to my right has taken the initiative, then I'm like, okay, I'm going second. That's not too bad, and
Right.
I'm perfectly fine taking the blast token, assuming that they want to hold on to initiative as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Is kind of looking at how the board is. Like, hey, did the person who grabs initiative token, am I second or am I last? You're like, oof, So it's kind of one of those things. That's a good point on
That's
that,
another good
Jonathan.
point, yeah.
Yeah, going fifth is always rough, right? You're like, oh, my stuff is definitely not surviving.
Right.
You're like, every plan, not gonna matter.
You're like, we'll see. I got 4 turns to wait.
I wonder if, like, at any point they'll develop a 4th token. Like when we get to 100 cards. I don't know.
I don't
That'd be
think they're
interesting
gonna
for
go
larger
100.
groups.
I think they said that they're gonna stay at 80.
Did they?
Mhm.
When did I miss that?
Yeah, it's staying at 80.
Okay, well, I actually don't hate that because now my dream of having a Mandalorian deck is somewhat alive.
I mean,
Achievable.
adding Data Vault, you can be at 90 minimum.
Nah, that's a
You can always
problem.
do 100.
No, that's not the direction
So.
we're going. We might actually have to go in the thermal oscillator direction if we actually want this dream to live. Alright, well that's our thoughts on tokens and a little bit of our spoiler discussion. I'll link the cool Discord where this got leaked earlier. And are you guys ready for a little mini market report?
It just
Go.
So for the mini market report, I'm going to do this one on like the weeks where I don't do a full one. Like I'm not going to do a full deep dive. I'm going to tell you guys a couple things, any kind of big updates. So for and I'm only going to talk about Star Wars Unlimited unless something crazy happens, which this week it did, and I really just want to crash out about it. For SWU though, the biggest thing that I saw this week that was crazy was it's not at this point anymore. He's back to about 35 at this point. Dude, at one point this weekend, Poe was $40 a piece, which was insane. Poe Dameron then, as you guys know, he's like probably the best legendary from set 2. You can argue that it could be Kylo's, but I think it's Poe at this point. But it went up to 40 because he's been used in a lot of decks lately. So that was my one big thing of like if you're trying to sell Poes, it's probably not a bad time to do that. My buy of the week. All right, I've been thinking about it because I was thinking about like set 5. Ayla Sakura is only $5 a piece right now, and I think that if you're going to be running a Jedi deck, you're going to have Coordinate a lot, and you're going to have a lot of lightsabers, so you're going to take that 6/5 up to a much more dangerous thing. And if you have Coordinate, you're just never going to lose her, which is awesome. So I highly recommend picking 3 of those up. I did myself this week. And then my sealed of the week, I know I keep saying this, dude, Twilight boxes are $50. And there's so many Jedi in there. General's Blade, Hu Yang, Ayla Sakura, Plo Koon, even though that's an uncommon. There's just so many good Jedi in, and if you get a showcase, like, dude, one of the other big movers this week that was interesting, Quinlan Voss, which previously was an all-time high sold of like $190, went up to, it had 2 sales for $250 and $270 this week. So the Twilight.
Enjoy that Quinlan, Steve.
Yeah, I'm glad I still have mine. The Hera hurts. The Hera haunts me at night, but other than that,
You best believe I'm taking that sucker and selling it to somebody this weekend.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Stonks are up. But yeah, I would recommend buying that sealed Twilight box. That's the best move right now. So what was I wanted to talk about the important things first before I crashed out real quick. Okay, so I saw something this weekend when I was just scrolling, and it made me so upset I had to take a whole part of my segment to talk about this. All right, Jonathan, I'm sure you know about this, but Ruben and Steve, are you guys aware that there are entire channels on TikTok and YouTube where they will have Pokemon packs and they will put them into a gamble box, which you then, the buyer, buy, and you have a chance at getting any set, like from base set all the way to the modern crap. Are you, for like a increased MSRP? Are you guys aware of this?
So it's a loot box.
It's a worse loot box. You're gambling on your gambling. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah. You're gambling when they can fix it.
Exactly. So those packs are typically like, I think they're like $50, and I'm not going to say any names in particular because I'm business model. Get your money how you get it. I'm just who is gonna, and I'm gonna bleep all that out. And I'm just crapping on a company who is, it's stupid. Okay. My point. What is GameStop doing? GameStop is now doing this. You get 3 random packs of cards from quote-unquote base set all the way up to modern, which I'm going to give y'all a hint. I don't know where GameStop would be getting base set because they don't have any left. Crazy thought, I know. Maybe they're Wade. I don't know. And you're also, oh my god, guys, you're going to get 1 randomly inserted graded card, PSA, from between an 8 to a 10. How much do you guys think that is?
If you said 50,
$20?
it's probably going to be what? Nah, it's got to be higher than what they're giving out
Steve.
already.
No.
What, 75?
Dude, it's
100?
it's
Somewhere around there?
65 without pro. If you're a pro member, it's $60. So for $65, you're buying 3 card packs, which are probably going to be Obsidian Flames or even worse, Paradox Rift. And you're going to get an 8 to 10 PSA graded card. But that'll probably pay for a cult. No, I've been on PSA's website or I've been on GameStop's PSA website. The 90% of their inventory is like $10 bull crap. Like, you're going to get crap. You're going to pay $65 for a set of, I'm calling it right now, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift. Jonathan, what's another terrible one? I would say Twilight Masquerade, but that's not terrible. I don't know. Insert another terrible
I've been
set.
out of it for too far, yeah.
Maybe Brilliant Stars. I don't know. Something awful. And then you're gonna get a freaking McDonald's promo graded at an 8.
But it could be your favorite Pokemon, Cole.
It could, but this is my counterpoint, Jonathan, because me and my friends were talking about this. Brother, do you know how many singles of my favorite Pokemon cards I can get for $60? Like, buy singles.
But graded. PSA 10. Cole.
Okay. 100%. I could buy the single I want to get graded, and then submit it to PSA myself.
You could probably get 5 or 10 to increase your chance.
Oh, you're right. You got a good point there. Just
So
buy them
you're
all. Is
saying
what we're saying.
GameStop shouldn't? You're
No.
saying GameStop shouldn't sell scammy loot boxes to children?
No, I don't think
Wow,
the
okay.
company that closed half their stores in the U.S. this year to divest into Bitcoin should be doing what they're doing. No.
But
Whoa,
also,
had
Steve,
no
to touch on
idea
your-
GameStop was such a scam.
Dude, I saw that this weekend.
They've always been so.
Dude,
Every,
I know,
Every time
Steve,
they've
but
given me $2 for a stack of games, I've always said, "Man, these guys are really
these guys are
honest."
real good businessmen. Oh, I just can't believe that their thought to save the company is, those TikTok guys, they seem to have it all together.
But what about the other
Well, this
side?
one won't backfire.
Oh, it
Touch on
will.
Steve's point. What if they become like the casino model? The house always wins.
Dude, I give it 10 years and GameStop will be an affiliate of DraftKings. I'm calling it right now.
They're reinventing themselves every week.
Every week, exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
this is my
Every
last
week I
thing
go
that I'm
in
going to
there and
crash
I
out
go,
on
"What?"
GameStop about. I'm sorry, Steve, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say every time my son asks to go in there, we go in there. I'm like, "Oh, it's a Funko store now.
Oh, it's
Oh,
basically
it's a now it's a trading card store." Like they every week.
Do you guys know the only time that GameStop ever actually posted a profit was due to the fact that during the pandemic they had a meme run that gave them enough cash to buy CD savings bonds, and that's the only reason GameStop was profitable? Fun fact.
Huh.
Only time in history GameStop was profitable. But yeah, I was still astonished to go onto GameStop.com and find the Power Up Play Reward Pack and almost cry at what I had seen on that website. Let us know your thoughts below.
Actually, to tie it back to the beginning of the market watch,
Feel free.
Cole, out of curiosity,
Yeah.
what's General Grievous at? Because with the 50 new sabers,
Oof. Bro, that's a good question. That's actually probably a good buy.
A good point.
I think he's at like a couple dollars. Yeah, he's $3.75 a piece. I approve. Buy.
Jonathan's
Grievous
gonna have
support, baby.
yeah, he's gonna have 3 Grievuses and 50 lightsaber, 47 lightsabers.
Add it to my collection. Let's go.
That's
Dude,
right.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That is beautiful, though. No, Jonathan's got. I love that he's a man with a plan. He's determined. He's like, it's gonna work. It's gonna work one day.
Gonna happen.
Yeah, that's my market report of the week. Next week I'll have more information. It'll be a really interesting week to report on for Pokemon because a new set's coming out next week, the Japanese set. And then this is a new segment that Ruben made, and I picked the first one this week. Star Wars lore. So we're gonna pick a card and explain where it comes from, or like just somebody's gonna give a little quick little quick speech about the card. So I chose one of my favorite cards and one of my favorite ships in all of Star Wars, the Devastator. We first see this beautiful, beautiful piece of Imperial technology in Episode 4, capturing the Tantive 4. It was also a major participant in the Battle of Hoth and Endor, where it would see very much damage, and then it was also seen in Kenobi when it was hunting the Jedi path, or the Hidden Path, which was the rebel cell that Kenobi was going through, if you guys remember that. That was the ship that did the planetary bombardment.
Oh.
Yeah. A couple interesting facts. This is what I love about the Devastator. So, there were a couple classes of Imperial Star Destroyers, and this was the last of the first one, so the Class 1 destroyer. However, Vader and the Admiral that loved it and was in charge of it, they loved it so much that they would physically alter the structure of the ship in order to add the newest weapon system. So they would move the hangar bay a couple times, they would pull out different shields and generate, like, because they wanted to keep it relevant because they loved the ship so much. And then another fun fact that I didn't know when I found this on Wikipedia, and I did confirm this going down a couple rabbit holes. There was actually a second Sith Lord Master known as Lord Tyon, who was originally in the 1981 radio adaptation of Star Wars Episode 4, no longer considered canon until he was mentioned being the commander of the Devastator in the 2014 novel The Rebellion Begins. This ship's homeworld was the Kuat Drive Yards, and then is it cool or not? It's sick. Yeah, this is the Devastator. It actually has two cards, as you guys know, the red and green version.
That is, yeah, like, again, the lore stuff is kind of like, the last episode when Mo was on, just kind of talking about the cards. It's like, man, this is such a good segment that we should do, and just learning about these cards. And for me, for someone, and for those folks who've been listening, I am not the lore guy, or I don't know so much about Star Wars as like Cole and Jonathan Steve does. But I tell you what, though, when I have those aha moments, I think I really get excited about it.
You
I'm
do.
like, hey, and you guys are like, yeah, I knew that about 10 years ago.
No, but it does fill our heart. It fills our heart with joy to watch you discover it as well.
So yeah, my card for next week will be that aha moment for me. But I love this. I think this is great. I learned so much, and this is how I learn about all these different cards. It's just like, oh, let's talk about it and let's see what it is. So exciting. This is good stuff, man. Like I had
like
no
that.
idea. I had no idea, like this, like all the canon stuff. Like what's not? That's a whole different.
Oh, we
segment,
could have
but
a
that's just-
3-hour
oh my gosh.
conversation if you get me and Steve going about that.
That's for another episode.
That is for. That's for the Patreon exclusive. For listening to me and Steve yell about what we could have had with the Yuuzhan Vong War, and what Darth Krayt would have become.
But Cole, they didn't have any source material to pull
Steve,
from.
I referenced to you Abeloth, the Yuuzhan Vong Wars, the Imperial Resurrection. I have so much.
Oh man, I saw this. Not to get too off topic,
No,
but
I
I saw
mean, you're all
this sick
good.
edit. It was a sick edit of Shin Hati, and it was like they like transformed her into Abeloth, and it was so sick. She's got that look to her, like, and, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I'm not like talking down to her or anything, but she kind of does have like an Abeloth kind of look to her.
Yeah, she absolutely does. Dude, I made a mistake. And Ruben and Jonathan, who are probably lost, Abeloth was basically like the incarnation of the dark side, and she was like, I don't know how to describe it, but Resident Evil meets Star Wars is the best description. Like, very terrifying and kind of sexy. But
she was literally like driving Jedi all across the galaxy insane, like to the point where they were like killing each other. Like she could like get in their minds. And it was nuts. Yeah.
I mean, along that wavelength, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I've been seeing it from time to time about a horror story for Star Wars that might be coming up or something like that. That would be fun. Something that is a little bit more. So that'd be kind of cool. I mean, for me, like every time I watch Star Wars, like, oh, this is exciting. This is family friendly. Let's not make it so family friendly. Let's make it a little bit darker. Let's get it crazy.
Oh, may I present to you Star Wars Legacy?
Is that a book, a show?
It's a comic book.
Okay, well, okay, I gotcha. Yeah,
or Death Troopers.
Oof.
Death Troopers is a dark one. That's got some effed up stuff in it.
Republic Commando.
Was that the one you talked about? One of the Star Wars Skywalkers didn't want the Force or something?
Yeah, that's the Legacy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker's like great grandson is a drug addict, and then he saves the entire Jedi Order again after not wanting to. But yeah,
Death Troopers takes place on like this prison ship. Like this zombie plague gets loose.
Dude, this is a comic?
No, Death Troopers is a book.
It's a book.
Dude, okay, this is an offline topic, but something I definitely want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That right there is intriguing because that kind of stuff is like, yeah, that I like that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. Thanks.
But yeah, that's our little lore segment for the day. Ruben, I'll hand it over to you for the deck tech spotlight.
Awesome. Thank you, Cole. Yeah, so as part of the deck tech spotlight, we're working on naturally bringing out new decks from time to time, but we're also going to be adding a little bit more meat and potatoes with it and kind of giving an explanation of what these decks are. So I decided, because I just recently got a Han Solo, the Han 3 showcase card from my buddy Brandon for, guess what, Devastators. So it's kind of funny how that ties in. So I wanted to
It's
build a
also
deck
not a
with
bad
that, and
deal.
yeah, so that was pretty cool. So I was like, who is Han's best bud, right? Chewbacca. So that's why I named this Boost and Buddies. For those who are older like me, you'll know there's a show back, I think it was in the 70s, late 80s, something around there. It's called Boost and Buddies. Look it up. It's great. It's funny. But this deck is 90 cards. It has Data Vault in it. It's quite fun. Basically what I did, I can't make this stuff up because it's in the deck list. I want to utilize Han's ability and just play odd cards in the deck. Like the whole deck is just odd cards. There's 90 cards and they're all odd. So basically I'm just trying to utilize his ability, but also it's very fun. It's very thematic. And of course bringing out Chewbacca, and it's at what? Oh, 7 resources when he flips. So it's kind of, will I be able to see Chewbacca flip? Maybe. But if I do, awesome. But he makes all of my 3 cost or less units Sentinel, and of course, I love Sentinel. The fact that I can make everyone have Sentinels is a pretty big deal. I did add a few, some, like my total units in my deck is, what is it? 65 total units. So if that tells you anything, I'm literally just trying to flood the board with a lot of 1 cost units, and that's kind of one of the things that we talked about a little bit earlier. One of the tips is that, if you can play a unit, if you can play 2 units a turn instead of just one, you add a little bit of more board state. So that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was building this deck is, can I put more units in the deck itself. And of course, with playing Han and playing Chewie, you get their units in there. You got the Falcon, you got both Falcons in there. Of course, when you're playing yellow, blue, and green, you can basically put a pretty good package together with the Hans and on the Chewies, and of course the Falcons. But I also have about 20 space units, and with those space units, I have about 10 pilots, which I think is pretty great. Chewbacca's space unit, or the pilot from JTL, is really, really cool. It's kind of hard to get rid of, but it's pretty. I really enjoy that. The events that I've added in here, I added the best smuggle cards at odd cost, the Covert Strength and Smuggler's Aid, because everyone loves to use Smuggler's Aid because that extra little bit of health when you need it. But again, there's one card that I really enjoyed put in here, was Disruptive Burst, because when people play Battle Droids or TIE Fighters, it kind of wipes that out. It might come in handy when you're playing against someone who plays Exploit, Jonathan. But I also added the fun card Commandeer, because anytime you can take an opponent's vehicle and smack it into somebody else's vehicle, it could be a win-win for everybody involved. And if you get lucky enough, I put in choose sides and U-wing reinforcements, because late game it could really swing a game around. But hopefully the pod that you're in will actually allow you to play it, because 7 resources is sometimes challenging to get to. The deck doesn't have too many upgrades, but it does have some fun ones where holdout blaster, resilient, general's blade, Jedi lightsaber, perilous position, and traders. Which I think if you're running green, you need to run traders no matter what. It doesn't. It's always a good. And
100%. Yeah.
again, this is a deck that is basically all odd cards, and that's just what I just thought was kind of fun. I have it, I've got it built. I'm ready to play it, and I just think it's pretty fun just to come up with a deck. Just because it's like, why do we build decks? Because I just got this showcase. I'm gonna build a deck because of it. That was the reason, and that's what came up to where we're at now with it. So I thought it was a pretty fun way of saying, hey, this is why I'm building a deck, and every deck that I put together is going to have a theme, and I'm just going to make a little quick blurb about it. But I think just having the ability to, I just really like Chewbacca's ability to make everything Sentinel. So it's kind of fun for me. So, but yep, that's my deck tech for this
Cool.
week.
Awesome.
That is the second Han odd deck that I've seen built. Because I love Han Odd. I think he's so fun. But I'm like, the whole odd thing, I'm like, am I gonna miss out
It's
on
a
some
big
cards that
commitment,
I
yeah.
want to play?
Big
Yeah,
commitment.
but that is two that I've listened to now that I've been like, man, that actually sounds pretty fun.
We know what else is interesting, Steve? You can run like odd costing units that have pilot for different prices. You know, like you could try to like maneuver it that way a
Yep.
little bit.
That is
Yep.
true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yep, but the card cost is what it looks for, so it's one
Right.
of those things.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
yep,
Exactly.
so exactly. So like Mandalorian is in there, and he has it's a double yellow,
Yeah.
but the smuggle or the pilot cost is one yellow, so it's
Correct.
it works.
Exactly. Well, beautiful job, Ruben. Jonathan, welcome back. For our favorite game, name that card.
What's that card?
All right, Jonathan. Chris won last week. He's out. He said he wants you to pick the card. Do you have a card in mind?
I'm ready.
Awesome.
I see you don't want me to break your guys' ankles too much.
Okay.
Coming back so soon.
What's the order?
With all my questions. All right. Order is going to be, let's go, Steve, Ruben, Cole.
Cool.
I've never gone first. This is exciting. Okay. What set is this card from?
This card is from Jump to Lightspeed.
Okay.
What is the cost of the card?
This card costs 6.
Is this card a weekly play promo? If you go on TCG Player and put the name in.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Cole.
Yeah.
So there's 20 cards to pick from after that.
No, there's actually 40.
There's 40. Oh no,
In
no, I was thinking
JTL.
of JTL. There's 40 weekly promo cards.
Yes, there are.
Oh, ooh, spicy.
So it still helps.
Doesn't help me.
Doesn't help
me
me.
at all. I don't know
It
what
helps
it
me,
is.
who's the fiend who collects them. Who's the fiend?
All right, did we get the? Or is he still looking it up?
I think he's still.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, looking it up.
That's a good question.
No, it is
Okay.
not a.
Well, good
weekly
question
play
didn't help us. Okay.
But it's still
Very,
that's
very
a
good
solid
question.
question.
Steve.
We got to start
Yeah,
putting that in our order
Yeah.
here.
well, just to help him, yeah, or help whoever knows it, you know. What aspect is this card?
This is pure aggression.
Pure aggro. Oh.
What is War Juggernaut?
This is not War Juggernaut.
Oh, that was gonna be my guess. Oh man.
Jonathan, go ahead and tell me what type of card is this? Is this an event? Is it a unit? What am I looking
This, my friend, is a unit.
at? Oof. Glad I didn't guess what I was gonna say then.
A unit. Okay, and it's not War Juggernaut.
We know nothing about it, but it's a unit and it's 6, I've heard, and it's red. It's Come on, Steve, we can do this. I believe in us.
Is this my last question? Yeah, this is my last question.
Yep.
All right. Tell me the traits.
That could hurt.
The
Or help.
traits are Rebel and Trooper.
Oh. No, that's not 6. Pure aggression. I know, I'm thinking too. Rebel Trooper.
I have not a clue.
What keywords? If any?
Keywords is Saboteur.
What?
This is probably like a generic comment
feel
or
so
something that I
stupid.
just
Um,
never see.
Come on, Steve, we can do this. Rebel Trooper.
I
6,
cannot do this
Can't
one.
be Cham.
Uh,
I would say General
just gonna
Rican,
say-
but he's green.
I know this is wrong, but I'm gonna say it because it's stuck in my head. Saw Gerrera.
This is not Saw Gerrera.
Okay.
You did say 6, right?
I did say 6.
And it's pure red,
Pure red.
a rebel trooper.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you this is a rare I've just never pulled. Or maybe it is a common, like Steve said. I feel so dumb right now.
So we're not inviting Jonathan back, right?
That's what I've heard. Yeah, he's All right, I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna just fail here because I'm just curious at this point as to what it is. I'm gonna say Royal Security Wing Guard Team, which I know is the 6-cost fringe one, so I know that's wrong. Jonathan, what are we missing?
This is the Insurgent Saboteurs.
Oh, I hate that card! I knew it!
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
see
a
it
good
now!
one.
Oh god, that card sucks. I have so many of those.
That card is good in draft.
Yeah, it is, but it's terrible everywhere
you
else.
said that you were gonna ease into this, and you said you're gonna make it, and I was like 6 cost red. I was like, okay, Word Juggernaut. No. How?
Bro, I was gonna say Plan Bomb. Jeez. All right, well, Jonathan gets to go again next week. Back to back.
Good job, Jonathan. Nice pick.
No, hats off to you, dude. That's a good one. It's always good to pick those really crappy commons that no one ever thinks about. That's always that seems to be the play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for letting us into your homes, and tell people that you care about them. And goodbye now.
Bye.
Bye.